Okay, welcome back to Into the Veil. I'm Rachel. As always, great to have you here with us. We came out, felt like by request, to do something that we do about every month, 2 months, and that is to burn some resin, clarify and purify the space. This is Anku's seat, and we felt specific request to come back to this area. Oftentimes, we get a lot of activity back here, and with that, maybe we can get him to communicate a little bit while we're doing what we're doing. We have, if you watch the video as the people move in, just kind of keep an eye out, because a lot of times if they're in their energetic or their essence, as we call it, a lot of times it'll just look like a blur, whereas everything around it will be very clear. Sometimes you'll pick up on faces, and remember, most of them don't have hair on their face, and it is their hair that's adaptable to color and mutates to their environment like camouflage. So a lot of times that's why we see just their faces. Okay, so the first thing I'd like to do, and I'm sorry, it is warm, so I'm a little past the point of glowing. Anku, brother. He says, I am here. Do we have any of the rest of the family with us? So this left rod is pointing left and practically behind me, so he's not far. I'm going to have Ken pan around as I explain where the rods are pointing. Who else is with us, please? We have another one to my right, and I can feel that one's giving me bumps, so it's even closer, probably about just on where these vines are is where I'm feeling. Hello. And who is this, please? Sobe. Hello, brother. Good to have you. Okay. So we're going to come over here to the log, and we have an asterisk here. For us, they have notated asterisks as pointing out important spots, important areas. So we respectfully leave them as they have them. I'm going to walk across here. Temperature actually dropped, but the humidity is crazy. Great for my skin, though. Okay. And it doesn't surprise me that Sobe showed up for this. This is kind of a special spot for us in Sobe. I feel others moving in, and we'll see. So I'm going to set these down. So what we do about once a month or every other month is purify the space. I like to personally start with sage, white sage. Now you can use loose leaf. These are kind of a tight wrap bundle, and sometimes they are almost too tight to burn well, which is why I have the torch lighter. It's best if you can use a natural match, but this is fine. We've brought a hagstone. We've brought, I hear somebody back here coming up. Hagstone, and I've got clear quartz, rose quartz, Shiva, lingam, which is a balance between masculine and feminine energy. Rose quartz signifies love, of course. Clarity on the clear quartz. A dark purple amethyst, copper. These are some resins that I have set up, and we'll get to those in a moment. So Anku, what's going on, buddy? Talk to me. If you watch sage, in a house, for example, if you have energy that needs to be cleansed, you'll notice that the smoke moves to one corner or one area or another. This is just going straight up, so it doesn't feel like a specific spot. We're going to let that, if it will, we're going to let that just kind of go. I may have to light that again. Okay. So Anku's explaining the people as a whole, not just this family, are going through some transitions of their own. It feels very much like, last year we had forest fires, and he expressed that a lot of them would be moving more eastward into areas that weren't as affected. And there seemed to be an invite. This is Palo Santo, sorry. There seemed to be an invite last year for anyone that felt like they might like to experience the people, that if it was possible, that they would try to relocate them there and give them a more personal human experience. Excuse me. What seems to be going on this year is just a little bit different in that a lot of, it seems to be type 1 with type 1, type 2 with type 2. Type 3s I'm not really feeling as part of the program specifically, but it seems to me that these guys are opening up their space, their homes, kind of breaking their own rules traditionally for boundaries and territories and things like this, in order that some of these have placement, because there's been such an overload in the need to relocate many. This is cedar. And everybody's being contrary. Cedar's still a little bit fresh. The last video I did was just a mic test, and I felt Anku walk up directly on my left. Now, he's not shy, and it's not the first time he's been that close. This is sweetgrass, so we're just going to let those go for a minute. Oh, one more, sorry, and this is tobacco, as we do have some native spirits here also to honor the ancestors there. There we go. But I did notice that he walked right up to my left. Now, Anku emotes. He feels. I can feel him very easily. And what I distinctly felt was a sense of protection, but more than that, he felt a little bit, what's the word I'm looking for, Anku? Irked? A little bit irked. Because as we were walking along, and I'm using the rods, and the family traditionally will point out where they are. It is no big thing to us or them anymore. We're always grateful. But as this was going on, I felt like somebody had questioned his authority or what was allowed to be shared between us and them. And so whomever this was, 1, 2, or 3, I don't know. But I felt that they were basically questioning him for allowing his family to communicate with us so freely and point out where they are, where that's, maybe not as traditional. And him stepping up was very much him making a statement and saying, these aren't just people, they're family. And whatever gesture he made in that, which I don't know if it was specific, but whatever gesture was made in that clearly spoke to these that are here not to question him. And it felt like the nicest way he could handle the situation, and also to offer us protection in letting them know, that it was a off-limit space unless it was friendly. So it was kind of interesting. These, I feel him saying, are from the BC area in Canada, which seems like a long way to me, but who am I? A home is a home, and I think it's respectful that they're willing to break their rules in order to assist their own. He's kind of giving me the sense that it wouldn't be fair for man to have to evolve if they weren't willing to evolve out of some of their own boxes and parameters to a degree. As long as it's peaceful, they seem to be willing to. So on the charcoal here, we have white copal. And white copal is very good for emotional healing, connection to the spirit realm, and it creates a very clear and calm space, as well as purification. The sweet myrrh, it clears and it balances emotional and spiritual energy also. Really good for grounding and purifying, and it's a little bit darker than the regular myrrh, which is for healing in addition to some of these qualities. This is what I felt inclined to burn. So that's what we're going to do, and we're just going to light this charcoal. And once she's going, it's good. Resins are one of my favorites. They're much stronger than incense and much more pure, as it's from its raw source. There we go. And they're boiling. So with that, I'm curious about how long they anticipate, or how many extras we might have. Hopefully these won't interfere with our sound. How many Anku would be visiting? 5, 10, 15, 20, higher? In and out, I feel, and I don't feel they're all right in this area specifically, but throughout and between families that are a part of this tribe, about 25. We probably won't have that many in this particular section unless they're just kind of visiting. In and out. In and out is what I hear. So part of this is to expand their traditions, and part of it is, I feel him saying, and to enable some of these a broader experience of man. It's a growing and learning experience for everyone. He assures me not to worry for our own well-being, because they're under agreement that they have to follow house rules in order to be able to utilize the space. And I think it might be about 6 months. It kind of depends, is the feeling that I get. And I think a lot of it depends on how it goes too. But anyway, we wanted to, share what we do about once a month or every 2 months. It kind of depends on how it feels. And it just felt like we were being given a request to help with some of the adjustment that they've been going through.
Sit this on the tripod and give it a break and let this burn for a few minutes and tell them because they can't hear me.
Okay. So we're going to set the camera on the tripod and we're going to rest it for just a minute. Let this burn down. And I'm going to see if some of the rest of the family might want to come up, if there's anything else that presents itself. Feels very peaceful to me, but energetically they know the difference. So we'll be right back. So we're going to give this a wide angle, leave it running. We're going to come over here by the mound, see if anybody wants to come up closer to where that's burning. Give them a little space. I catch a lot of peekers. They're not really as shy. In fact, I feel like I've got one right on the other side of that arch. If you guys are looking on the left side. But they're not as shy as we would like to believe they are, especially once they get to know you. They certainly haven't been anything but friends and family to us.
One question I get asked quite often is how close have we gotten to them? And I don't know if they can hear me talk in your microphone.
So Ken is asking, or he gets asked often, how close have they been to us? They've literally been side by side with us.
Touched us.
Now, when you get into their space, or you're touching energetic fields, so your natural energetic field is going to go out plus or minus 8 feet. I feel like, I need to ask Anku, but I feel like theirs is much more expansive, probably closer to 17, maybe 20 feet, and it's not hard for your field and their field to brush and still have 25 feet between you. And what you'll feel is you'll get the sensation of goosebumps on one side of your body or the other, behind you. You can feel like you're walking into a cold space sometimes, which a lot of people relate to ghosts, but it's not about that.
Putting your tongue on a battery.
Yeah, or like putting your tongue on a battery, get a little zing. But none of it is intended to harm. It's more of just enabling you that experience. And certainly, if you're not comfortable with that, a simple request is often helpful, because then they can understand that you're not comfortable with it. And if they could step back, or if you take a step back, it's a respectful thing. They are not disrespectful. Respect is number 1 in their book. I see Took right in front of me.
The little ones sometimes will grab or brush our legs walking through.
Yeah, the little ones will grab our legs. We've had audio that flat out disappears because they're curious. They're curious, and they will put their hand on microphones, or they'll play with lights, or and it can be frustrating because you think everything's rolling along fine. You get back, and we had this happen this last week. We had blue lights on our portable microphones, and half of the audio, my part, came through reasonably well. And we kept hearing comment, blue lights, blue lights. And Ken and I figured out that they were fascinated with the blue lights on the microphones. We never even thought about anything else except their fascination. we got back, and almost all of Ken's was basically muted, as if somebody had had a hand in front of, or, covering the mic. So I blame Took, honestly, because he is almost, with Kenny, he is almost the same as Junior. And he practically, if he could, he would just sit straight on his lap. But most of the time, he tries to stand on his right side. He's the one that's always grabbing Kenny's leg. Nothing harmful, ever. Fun, and their way of saying, we're here. A lot of times, if I'm asking who's present, I will hear, for example, Sobe here. It's, their verbiage is different than English. Sometimes it's a little like Yoda talk. And some of the words that they use are clearly different than the words we would use. They will say, if they'll say, do you agree? Most of the time, they'll say, do you accept? Do you agree with me? Do you accept me? So it isn't that complicated, but it is different. And ours is different to them, but like them, they have gotten accustomed to our slang. They listen to every word we say. They know what we commonly use. Any other questions from?
The other thought was they understand the words of emotion more
Yes.
so.
Yes.
They probably didn't hear me on that.
So Ken was making a point that they understand words of emotion. And if you consider words that are directly rooted out of Latin, like Spanish or Italian, some of these, their words are much more descriptive of specific emotion. And that's what it puts me into mind of, is words that are clearly about how they feel. We have a very dry language, unfortunately, and it takes a lot to really come up with great descriptors. So it helps that they are empathic, because they also feel what we're saying, not just hear what we're saying. This is straight in front of Anku's seat. This is what we call the trident. It is most often signature of places of power, is what Anku relays. Not just individuals, but where they would hold meetings, where they would, specifically hold council. So it is also signature to others that would come into the area. We're going to go back up here and see how our goodies are doing. They like the smell of this also. Yeah, just about burned down, so I think we will wrap it up, leave them to their space. I want to say thank you for being here. If you find value in the channel, please remember to like, share, and subscribe. Also, if you have any questions about Ormus, I'll put a link at the end of the video. It's been a godsend to us, physically, mentally, spiritually, emotionally. It has balanced us in virtually every way possible. We have rods available still, mini rods and regular size rods, if anybody is curious about those. Still doing sessions. If I can help with anything, please do let me know. Some individuals, I work with them if they have questions about families that they might be working with. I have other individuals that it's about ascension. Others yet, it's just kind of an energetic update on where they are spiritually, what they can do to kind of move things along, because everything's kind of gotten a real ball and chain feeling this last few months. So let me know. My email is in the description box of the video. And please do feel free to comment if you have any questions. Thank you so much, and I will see you on the next one. Bye-bye.